All right, we are live. Yes, I know the race already started. Ravish, welcome to the stream. Sorry for that. I haven't missed a lap, but I didn't get the stream up in time. Stream is up now, though. Ashton G, welcome to the stream as well. We are here to hang out for another NASCAR Cup Series race at the Las Vegas Motor Speedway this week. Chase Elliott is the current leader at the competition caution at lap 25. They're on lap 27 now, but the competition yellow came out at lap 25. Stop copying the fantasy. Let me see here. Why, do you have the same team as me? Lil Russ 619, welcome to the stream. Tristan Games, welcome as well. Again, we are here. Live commentary. They are heading down onto pit road right now. Sorry again for missing the first 25 laps. As far as the stream goes, I haven't physically missed it myself. Likely going to see everybody's going to take 4 tires here under this pit stop. First pit stop of the day. We went caution free to the competition yellow at lap 25, again due to no practice or qualifying this week. We have the same team. Jacob Westbrook, welcome to the stream. I guess it's going to rely on bonus points at that point then too. Oh man, almost a crash there at the end of pit road. Truex about got into the back of Denny Hamlin. Kyle Larson and his crew win the race off pit road. Hamlin, the biggest gainer, gaining 4 spots. He'll restart in second. It was a heck of a start to the race. Let me tell you, those first 10 laps were very exciting. 3 wide battling for the lead, back and forth. And then Chase Elliott kind of broke away. Yeah, I did see that. He had to throw it in reverse to get out. Blake Barnes, welcome to the stream. Pretty boring race, not that much battling and lead changes. For one, it's only 25 laps in. For two, there were a ton of lead changes on the first couple laps. It's about as good of a start to a mile and a half as you could have, honestly. Patrick Chatterley, welcome to the stream. Have Keegan tuned up, Fox on silent. Yeah, thanks. We will have my commentary for this race. They're under a commercial break right now. But a lot of fun at the start of the race. I almost put Chase Elliott in my lineup. I put Bowman in there because I want to save Elliott for the road courses. It's the only reason I didn't put Chase Elliott in my lineup. Otherwise, I would have. He ran really, really well, especially in the spring here last season before he got in the wall because of a flat tire. Blaney is on the move. Started 26. He got up to 9th in the first 25 laps. I'm going to guess that he's not on drugs. Maybe he is. And again, for those of you that don't know or have not watched these live streams along with the actual race itself, again, you guys will not be able to see the race. I watch everything, TV or sport, mainly sports related, because that's about the only TV I watch. But I watch it on Hulu if it's live. So there might be a little bit of a delay. Again, it seemed like we're about a half a lap delay the last time between what you guys are seeing and what I'm seeing, but we're going to have fun. Maybe he's just not a Hendrick Motorsports fan, because they are dominating going to this race. The top 3 have been Elliott, Bowman, and Larson pretty much since the start. Kevin Harvick, who started on the pole, dropped like a rock to about 11th, got back up to about 10th, 8th, 9th, 10th there by the lap 25. But very early in the race, I think by the end of stage 1, the drivers up towards the front will be the drivers that will battle towards the front for most of the day. I kind of mentioned in the predictions video, like how Blaney looks. My mom says the same thing. Whenever she sees Blaney, she's like, "You look just like him." I don't think I look like him at all. The hair a little bit, and when he does grow his beard out. Ooh, damage on Chase Elliott. Right side of his race car, all banged up. I guess I'd have to actually see Ryan Blaney in person, shoulder to shoulder to see if we actually look alike. They are about to go green. Larson will restart on the outside. Hamlin on the inside. Larson is the control car for the restart. Blaney's got the Penzoil scheme. I actually have that diecast that he's running today. I'll bring that out before the end of the race. A lot of fans on hand for a limited COVID crowd, I do have to say. Green flag is in the air. Larson leads the outside and the rest of the field into turn one. Logano 3 wide to the outside of Byron and Blaney mid-pack. Harvick all the way upstairs, nearly 4 wide. Logano throws the block on Harvick. DiBenedetto bounces all the way to the inside of not Eric Jones, it's Christopher Bell. They're 4 wide and tight into turn 3, and almost some contact between Eric Jones and Christopher Bell. Still 4 wide on the front stretch. Middle of the pack. And Denny Hamlin was able to get to the lead on the bottom lane on the restart. The first non-Hendrick Chevrolet to lead. And Brad Keselowski, my pick to win the race, is on the move as he is going to the outside of Larson for second. Bowman starting to charge through the field as well. Trying to run that middle lane. Haven't seen a lot of guys intentionally do that. Keselowski has not been able to clear Larson yet for position. Martin Truex Jr. in line behind Keselowski. 300 cars in line on the bottom of the track of Larson with Elliott behind him, Bowman behind Elliott. Aggressive side drafting going on between Keselowski and Larson as they enter turn 1. An overcast day at the Las Vegas Motor Speedway. But a dry one nonetheless. That's all we can hope for as race fans. Hamlin continues to lead, but not by many car lengths ahead of the 2 running in second. They have to be slowing each other down with the amount of side drafting going on. Bowman is in the middle of still trying to pass Martin Truex Jr. as well. Keselowski gets the run off the outside down the straightaways, but Larson pulls him right back on that left rear corner panel as he side drafts him. His taller rear spoilers only making it more relevant on these intermediate racetracks with the 550 horsepower package. Keselowski with a little bit bigger of a run that time. He is able to clear Larson. Elliott to the outside of the 5 car as they battle for third. 3 wide, further back, Truex, Blaney in the middle, Bowman on the bottom, Byron trying to peek back into there as well. All 400 cars in the top 8 in the early going of today's race. Kind of picking up where they left off for the most part at Homestead last week, with Byron going to victory lane. And for the most part, outside of Chase Elliott at least, late in that race, they were all running in the top 10. Elliott down to the bottom of the racetrack. Cannot clear Keselowski, but Elliott's car looks very strong early on. And despite the damage on the right side, he is running very well. Larson up the middle, 3 wide for second place. Gets around Elliott somehow. Elliott might have had to get out of the gas as he got tight, and Larson got shot out of a cannon trying to get back around the two of Keselowski. And he is clear. Pulls up, trying to block Keselowski in the middle of 1 and 2. Brad goes wide, and Larson back to second. Elliott charging behind the 2 car, gives him a little bump draft, and Keselowski's car got a little out of shape. But now Brad's got to run to the inside of the 5. Top 4 under a blanket, all within 0.3 of a second of the lead, and you wonder if Hamlin might be just holding him up a little bit. But they're battling hard for second place and not going anywhere far behind Hamlin. Keselowski to the apron after an aggressive side draft trying to clear Larson. Larson stays on the right rear corner panel of Keselowski. Brad trying to pull clear. Larson out of shape and still hangs on to it. Now a bump draft from behind from Elliott down the backstretch. Blaney, Byron side by side for position further back. Blaney makes the pass. Elliott, Keselowski side by side for third. Larson clear in second, trying to run down Hamlin. Halfway through stage 1. And Hamlin's led every lap since the restart, and Blaney is on the move, getting around Truex now as well. Truex dropping back. Byron pressure behind him as well as Bowman. And Larson going for the lead on Denny Hamlin. Hendrick cars look very strong today, again, like they did a week ago, running 2nd, 3rd, 7th, and 8th. Fox is on a commercial. Get that chat back up again. Again, Hamlin is in the lead halfway through stage 1. Yeah, pretty good race so far. I mean, we're only 40 laps in, but kind of a crazy start. When he said blank, he reminds me of... Yeah. And if you're just tuning in right now, I guess my best realistic broadcast is what we saw in that restart. It's about as good as it gets, but broadcasting can only be as good as the action, and the action is very well packed in the early going of today's race. You're doing the stream. Andrew Hollenbach, welcome to the stream as well. Didn't see you jump in there. Missed a lot of comments there for a second. Again, I can only look at the chat when it's not under green flag conditions. So I need to watch this and give the commentary as I go. We will not be doing the Cup Series race next week. We'll actually be doing the Xfinity Series race. It starts late enough. I should get home before the start on Saturday. Truck Series is off next week. The Xfinity and the Cup will be racing at Phoenix. And the Xfinity race starts at 5:30. Coverage starts at 5:30, so that means the race is probably going to start about 5:45 so I'll be home before the start of it. So we'll do the Xfinity race for the first time on the channel. I think we'll actually have a chance to get more viewers because it's on FS1 versus these first 3 Cup races we've done with this. They've been on the main Fox channel, so more people are available to watch it. They don't need cable to watch these races. Got Bowman, Blaney, Keselowski, Kurt Busch, and Truex in your lineup. Logano in the garage. That's a good lineup. It's a really good lineup. I don't have Blaney because until he showed... I think Blaney can get a top 10 today. The reason why I kept him out of the lineup is because that team has not shown speed yet this year. So I wanted to wait to see until they find speed. If they can find speed this week and next week, just 2 races in a row, they have speed, then I'll have more confidence for Blaney going forward. But right now, going into the day at least, not so much. He does look like he's got speed early on, though. He's in the top 10. He moved there fast, too. Caution is out for debris, by the way, if you were wondering. If you're not watching the race and you're listening to the commentary. They came back from commercial and they immediately had a caution for debris, so... Guess we haven't missed much. Well, maybe we did miss some. Looks like Kyle Larson did get around Denny Hamlin before the caution went away. Hamlin had that track position for the longest time, but as the grip level starts to wear out in these tires on the longer run, that's where you're really going to see the passing come into play for the lead, at least. Though we've seen passing for the lead even on the short runs with the race starts. Tough to tell who's got the fastest car right now. We have just over 30 laps to go on the stage. But again, under caution for debris. First caution for incident today. Top 10 currently runs midway through stage 1. Kyle Larson P1, Denny Hamlin 2nd, Keselowski 3rd, Elliott 4th, Blaney 5th, Bowman 6th, Martin Truex Jr. 7th, Byron 8th, Kurt Busch 9th, and Matt DiBenedetto into the top 10. I thought about putting Matty D in my lineup, actually, but the only thing that held me back was the same reason I held Blaney out of the lineup. It's just because they haven't shown speed yet this year. But the Penske cars usually run well here. So it looked like Kevin Harvick and Eric Jones made contact on that last restart, when they were 4 wide going into turn 3. Kyle Busch just about got it in the back of Harvick in the middle of it. And Harvick's lucky that debris caution came out because that left front is flat. Pit stops under yellow once again. A couple drivers stayed out. Looked like Ricky Stenhouse, Austin Dillon further back stayed out as well. There were a couple other cars beyond that. Corey LaJoie was one of them. Tires are going to be very important, much like they were at Homestead last week. There's some good tire fall off here. Mostly 4 tire stops, it looks like, on pit road. And Denny Hamlin once again wins the race off pit road with Chase Elliott second, Keselowski, followed by Bowman and Blaney. Biggest gainer? Christopher Bell, 2 spots. Kurt Busch loses 2. Predict Kurt Busch retires, Matt DiBenedetto goes to Chip Ganassi Racing. That's not a bad prediction. Has he driven Chevys before? Go Fast was a Ford. He's with Ford now. He was with Toyota, obviously, when he raced in the 95 for Levine Family Racing. I guess BK Racing was Toyotas, weren't they? I think they were Toyotas. I don't think he's ever driven for Chevy. Ryan Berwick, welcome to the stream. Stay out of predictions to keep Texas Rangers and Dallas Cowboys. Never happens. What do they say? If you keep the same prediction long enough, it'll eventually come true. I mean, it's a strategy, but it's not a very good one. Because you need to hope, like, if you were to go on that, like, even with, like, fantasy, trying to predict the right winner, it's like, well, I'll just predict Harvick every race. He'll win a couple races. But look at me last year, for instance. I predicted 9 races right. And yes, Harvick won 9, so I could have just predicted Harvick every race. I would have gotten the same amount. But the odds of a driver winning that many races are very slim, especially in this day and age of NASCAR. I mean, you very rarely see that happen anymore. So what Harvick did last year was very impressive. Even Hamlin with 7 as well. But yeah, it's very rare to even see a driver really. It's a very, very, very successful season. If they can get 6 or more wins in today's age. Even Elliott with 5 last year was a great season, and he won a championship. So yeah, exactly what I said, Ravish. Yeah, I think that's a good strategy, like with other sports where it's head-to-head, or a decent strategy at least when it's head-to-head. But it's a little different when you have at least 20 competitive cars that are capable of winning on it, like an intermediate from week to week to week. Yeah, Reagan did drive there part-time. That's right. I forgot about that. Wasn't it for like 1 year or 2 years? It was like in between Front Row and Roush. But he was with Front Row. Wait, I'm trying to think. Yeah, it was in between those two, but I thought he might have raced for Front Row and then left Front Row and then went back to them. I could be wrong. I honestly don't know what year it was that he drove for BK, but I do remember that now that you say that. The only reason I gave a crap about BK. Yeah, let me get that diecast real quick while they're under commercial. The mini diecast review. Yeah, so Ryan Blaney is using this car today. It's delayed on YouTube. You guys probably aren't seeing it. But... So, hey, he's got Penzoil on the car. It's the Penzoil 400. Logano won this race the last 2 years under the Penzoil 400. I actually got this for Christmas, not last year, but the year before. So this is a Ford Fusion. This is not the Mustang. This was the year he won the Charlotte Roval, and I actually like this paint scheme. That's why I have it. So the top 5 drivers stayed out of the pits under the caution. Both RCR cars, Logano, Larson, and Stenhouse all stayed out. And Denny Hamlin. Oh boy, Keselowski just shot the 9 about into the back of the 8 of Reddick. They're 4 wide again in turns 1 and 2. Blaney up the middle, 4 wide to get around Reddick. Truex, Kurt Busch, the same move, just followed Blaney in that hole. That was unbelievable. And DiBenedetto swings low again. It's going to get tight into turn 3, further back in the pack. There's going to be an accident on restart one of these times, the way they keep racing. I'm going to be shocked if they make it all day racing like this on the restart every time, because we know we're at least getting 2 more. Side-by-side for the lead still between Larson and Logano, but these guys are on older tires. A guy with fresh tires right behind him, a Brad Keselowski in 3rd place. All 3 Penske's in the top 5 as Stenhouse and Blaney battle for 5th. 3 wide to the lead. To the inside goes Keselowski. Larson didn't see him there. They almost made contact, pinching Larson in between the 2 Penske Fords. Big run by Chase Elliott. He goes 3 wide. They are 3 by 3 through the top 6. Stenhouse has a run to the inside. Right on the back bumper of Keselowski. This looks like Daytona out here. This has been crazy. This is an even crazier restart than the last time. They have been 3 wide for the lead for about a whole lap. The fresher tires in the top 4 are Keselowski, Elliott, and even Blaney back in 5th. Kurt Busch on fresher tires as well as Bell. They battle for 6th. Stenhouse loosens up off turn 4, and Hamlin barely squeezes underneath him. Blaney all over the back bumper of his teammate Keselowski on the bottom, trying to give him a push and get Keselowski going to get by these guys on old tires. Kurt Busch up the middle between Elliott and Blaney for 3rd. Kurt washes up the track behind Elliott. Bell to the inside of Kurt Busch. And Bell to the outside of Ryan Blaney as Blaney did not get off turn 2 well at all. They have been 3 wide for the lead for about 2.5 laps. This is unbelievable. Keselowski trying to break away from the side drafting of Larson on the apron, while Logano gets the run on the top off of turn 4. Elliott barely squeezes to the outside of Larson, and Joey Logano leads for the first time today. Blaney to the inside of Larson. Larson losing ground. Logano on older tires still. Everybody on fresh tires behind him except for Larson. Austin Dillon still inside the top 10. He's also on older tires. Kurt Busch dropped like a rock after getting to 5th. He's back to 9th. Elliott, Keselowski side by side for 2nd. Blaney still trying to get around Larson, and boy, Larson got extremely tight. You can see that car want to push to the right in the center of turns 1 and 2. Elliott clear of Keselowski down the backstretch. Brad could not side draft him enough. Bell to the outside, maybe going to try to take it 3 wide off the exit of 4 on Larson and Blaney, but he's got Byron underneath him, so he can't make that move yet. This might be better than Homestead. This has been an awesome race. 23 laps to go in stage 1. Elliott has a run. He looked very fast before the competition yellow. He has not lead since then. If he gets to the lead, he might walk away. We'll have to wait and see. But right now, he's trying to get around the best blocker in the game, as most drivers would probably vote for, and that is Joey Logano. And Logano is blocking from top to bottom quite a bit right now. Elliott's got the fresher tires by about 15 lap fresher tires. That makes a huge difference here at Vegas. Larson hanging in there on old tires, even in traffic, which is impressive of itself, in 4th, as he was able to hold off Blaney, and he's still working on Keselowski for 3rd. How are there 6 cars lapped down already? We haven't had a green flag run longer than 25 laps. About a mile and a half. Truex had a penalty on that last pit stop, by the way, so he was restarting a little further back in the pack. That's why he's in 12th, and Denny Hamlin just had a bad restart. He's sitting in 11th right now. Byron trying to join with his teammates. So is Bowman further back. Again, all 4 Hendrick Chevrolets in the top 8 still, as they have been all the way through stage 1. And Elliott still has not gotten around Logano. Elliott goes high, Logano on the bottom. The way the dirty air plays with these 550 package cars, and I think you saw it best at Kansas in the fall last season, you want to pick the same line as the guy behind you if you're the leader and get that dirty air on the front of the next race car. Elliott keeps trying to pick a different line, which he's done a great job of it right now, but Logano's actually gripping the inside of the track very well despite being on a little bit older tires. Track position is going to matter so much later and later in this race. Elliott goes way lower than Logano all the way down the backstretch, and he gets to the inside of Joey. As Logano tried to pinch him off, and clear off turn 4 as Elliott easily slides up in front of Joey Logano. Chase Elliott to the lead with 18 laps to go in stage 1. Hamlin back into the top 10 tonight, getting around Matt DiBenedetto last lap. 2 seconds off the lead. 2 seconds separate the top 8 right now. I know we had a restart, but that was 15 laps ago already. Keselowski gets around Logano. Now that Logano's back in traffic on those older tires, he's starting to go backwards. Larson, Blaney putting pressure on him from behind as well. Blaney, meanwhile, to the inside of Larson off turn 4 for 4th. Something happened to Bubba Wallace. They did not state what it was on Fox yet that I know of, but he is 5 laps down, so I think something... I might have missed something there, but Bubba Wallace might have had a mechanical issue because he is 5 laps down. Fox is going side by side right now. So if we see any battles for the lead, again, I'll keep the live realistic commentary. Logano fades back to 5th, by the way. And Blaney up to 3rd, passing both Larson and Logano in the last lap and a half. So the top 3 all on fresher tires. 4th and 5th on older tires trying to hang on. Probably should have pitted to have a better chance to keep that track position, especially Larson, because he was up towards the front as it was before the competition yellow. Logano was in the back half of the top 10 at the time. And how about Kevin Harvick, running 18th right now? Was one of the must-haves after starting on the pole. McDowell also started in the top 10 in 5th. He is back to 20th. So again, some sort of a mechanical issue for Bubba Wallace is leaving him in last, 5 laps down. And if he's still losing laps, then that means he's either in the garage or still on pit road. So something has happened. Now, because it was not under caution where Bubba Wallace went a lap down, or I should say, because it wasn't under caution that he went to the garage. If he is in the garage, he can return to the racetrack. There is no damaged vehicle policy for that, because there was no caution flag. How much do I think the 4 will win this year? I think Harvick's going to win quite a bit still. I think on my preseason predictions, I had Harvick winning 6 races this season. So I think Harvick, I'm going to say 6 wins. He didn't get his first win until race 5 last year, and this is race 4 right now. And he's ran in the top 10. He's got 3 top 10s to start the year, so he's been fast all season so far. If Blaney wins today, it's because I have the die cast out, and he's running the same paint scheme, by the way. He's running into the top 10, so this is the first time Blaney's shown speed all year outside of Daytona for the oval and for the 500, but that is a completely different beast. You can't compare that to even these 550 tracks especially. Though the restarts, you could probably compare them. Keselowski has caught Elliott as they split the lap car 3 wide. 12 laps to go on the stage. Keselowski is running down Chase Elliott. No one as bad as Quinn Houff. Yeah, Houff, I don't think he's earned that ride up to this point. Over a year in. A little over a year. Chase Elliott may be a little loose. The rear of that car is definitely sliding around quite a bit longer into this run compared to what it did before the competition yellow, and that has put Keselowski on his back bumper and putting a lot of pressure on him. Blaney's still up there as well, 9/10 of a second off the lead, and Logano continues to go backwards as well as Larson. Larson back to 10th now. Logano back to 5th. Side by side for the lead still. Keselowski to the inside of Elliott. Hard charging into turn 1 as they both drive it in deep. Elliott trying to pinch Keselowski on the bottom, but Brad is going to pull clear off of turn number 4. No, Elliott gets a run. Barely made it to the outside of Keselowski. Brad had a chance to pull up, but played it smart, and instead of blocking Elliott right there, he lets him go, and they continue to battle side by side, and if they keep side drafting each other, Blaney will close the gap, which he did. Blaney was 2.5 of a second faster that last lap, and closing on the top 2. 9 laps to go to decide who will get a playoff point. Elliott has 1 playoff point to show for. Keselowski and Blaney do not have a playoff point yet this year. Elliott's stage win came at the end of the Daytona road course, the beginning, I should say. Messing up my words. Keselowski easily cleared off turn 4 as Elliott slides a little loose again. Quinn Houff going to go another lap down, staying out of the leader's ways. And Blaney in the last 2 laps combined have gained 0.3 of a second on the top 2. They are no longer side by side though. Elliott's car starting to fade just a slight bit from where he was when he first took the lead. Bowman, Hamlin, Bell, 3-car battle for 4th further back. And Hamlin is charging after running 11 just after the restart. He may have a very good long-run car as well. He has already led laps today, and Elliott battles again on Keselowski. It looked like Brad was going to drive away. Elliott says, no, I'm going to fight this right back, and Elliott to the lead off turn 2, blocking and clearing Keselowski with a slide job off the exit of the corner. Battling all over the racetrack, the 22 and the 21 side by side for 8th. Bell and Hamlin side by side for 4th. Wow. 11 lead changes in the first 74 laps of today's race, and we only had 20 in the fall race back in September at Las Vegas. That was a very interesting stat that Mike Joy just put out. And again, we're only in stage 1, though 5 laps to go in stage 1 so far. And although Elliott took back the lead from Keselowski after it looked like Elliott was going to start to fade, Keselowski's staying right there. He's only about 1/10 of a second back. 4 to go in the stage now. And Ryan Blaney is starting to fade now that the 9 and the 2 are staying more single file. They're still racing hard and trying to battle each other, but they're not side by side anymore. Blaney was able to close about 0.3 of a second off the lead when they were side by side. He is now about 1.2 seconds off the lead currently. As long as he hangs on to it, though, he should be able to finish third in the stage. But the battle for the stage win is between Elliott and Keselowski. And Elliott now 0.2 of a second faster than Brad that last lap. Great race up to this point, and Keselowski keeps the battle on the high side. I'm surprised Elliott gave him the top side of the racetrack right now because Brad is gaining ground down the straightaways, getting the run off the banking. 2 laps to go on the stage, and we are side by side for the lead again. Brad looks very fast on the top. I'm surprised Elliott gave it to him. Another big run by Brad off the exit of 2. Elliott's going to have to side draft him heavily off the exit of the corners. And down on the inside is Elliott still. Runs about a lane off the bottom. Keselowski clear off turn 4. Final lap of the stage coming up. Lap car stays out of the way to the bottom of the track. And Brad Keselowski, after a back and forth battle in the final 15 laps of the stage, leads by a couple car lengths into turn 1. Unbelievable how they fall about 3 to 4 tenths of a second off the lead from one another, and they just pull each other back. But Keselowski had a great run on the top, chipping away at that lead again on Elliott. I'm surprised Elliott stayed on the bottom as long as he did, and it costed him a chance to win the stage. Keselowski gets his first stage win of the season, first playoff win of the year, as Brad Keselowski wins the stage by about 4 car lengths over Chase Elliott, followed by Blaney, Hamlin, Bowman, the top 5. Bell, Byron, DiBenedetto, Logano, and Truex round out the top 10. Those are 6th through 10th, all getting stage points. Truex got that final stage point by a nose over Kurt Busch. I had Kyle Busch winning 3 or 4 races this season. There's going to be more practice and qualifying. A lot of those races that they will practice and qualify for are going to be in the middle of the season. When we go to those new tracks, I think that's going to help him. I think a track like Nashville, where he had a lot of success in the Busch Series, and a lot of these Cup Series guys have not even raced at Nashville. I think Kyle Busch, that's going to be a good chance for him to get his first win this season. I look at the Pocono races. He ran really well there last season. Particularly that second race, I think he can run better. Horse. That's cruel. Wish somebody could actually race. What are you talking about? Tristan, this has been about as good of a race as you can get in the first 80 laps. Again, stage 1 is complete. The stages are split the same as they were last week. 80 laps in stage 1, 80 laps in stage 2, and 107 in stage 3, making up 400 miles, 267 laps for today's race. Ravish. I really hope she didn't see that. Oh my gosh. Patrick, that is a perfect analogy right there. I'm surprised. There's this Nationwide Auto Finance that is in Toledo. I'm getting the local advertisements currently right now, and I'm surprised that place is still running. I remember my dad and I were coming back from a AAA baseball game a long time ago, and I remember that place was on fire as we were going past it down the main drag. It was just burning. They were able to save it, though, somehow. I don't know how much damage it caused. I was younger. It was a while ago. Maybe they did close down short term after the fire, but they're still going. 2015, it was very different people. They're trying. I mean, they're doing everything they can right now. Been great racing. It's tough to tell who's got the faster car right now, especially the way Keselowski and Elliott battled at the end. But I do think the guys he saw towards the front right now, especially Elliott and Keselowski, will be in it for the long haul. I'm not completely sold on Blaney yet. He was fading on the long run, but it looks like he's got a good short run car. I think that's why he was able to pass so many cars at the beginning of the race and why he was able to get to third in that stage. But if we go, say, stage 2 without a caution, that's where we're really going to see who's got the long run car. We haven't had a long run longer than 30 laps yet, so if we end up having a run 30, 40 laps, it looked like Elliott was struggling with the car being a little too loose there. He was giving up a lot of the top. Maybe he can't run the top as well because he's that loose. I don't know. I'm just hoping Blaney actually gets a top 10 today and scores a lot of stage points. And he's already got 8 stage points, so that's good. Cars are on pit road currently. Be interesting to watch guys like Kevin Harvick and Michael McDowell who faded quick to see if they can get back in the top 10 by the end. The problem is, again, this race is going to be in the daylight hours all day long because they're on the West Coast, so 12:30 p.m. roughly when the race started, actually probably closer to 1. But anyway, this race will end in the daytime. The track temp really isn't going to change hardly at all if it does. So I didn't think you were going to see as many comers and goers because of that today, but we have so far. Hamlin's pit crew has been amazing so far. They gained 4 spots on the first pit stop today and 3 that time around. He'll win the race off pit road. Elliott and his crew repairing the damage to the right side of his race car. Maybe that could be affecting him on the long run. So they're going to work on the 9 car right now. He will restart at the back of the lead lap. Now we're really going to see how fast that 9 car is if he can get back through traffic. It's like the left rear quarter panel of Keselowski's car is kind of caved in a little bit. Not enough to make a tie rub, but it looks like he might have made contact with somebody earlier in the run. Ravish, where do you live again, by the way? Are you talking about the fire about that Nationwide Auto Finance? Last fire happened. I didn't know they had multiple fires. I know the one was a very long time ago. And it would have been at least during baseball season. Because, again, I remember we were coming back from a minor league baseball game in Toledo. And it's been a long time because usually I go to Detroit now, so I don't really... I mean, it's only an extra half-hour drive, 45 minutes. I'm probably closer to a 45-minute extra drive, and I could see a major league game versus a minor league game. Oh, local pharmacy, gotcha. Northwest Indiana. Oh, okay, so we're probably relatively close. Local pharmacy. I did watch The Crew. They might make a second season. It's just going to depend on, you know, I don't know. I don't know what goes into them. Like, there's got to be a way to gauge how many people watched it for viewership ratings. I don't know how that works with Netflix exactly, but yeah, I did watch all 10 episodes. I watched it. It took me about a week to get through it, but I watched them all in like a 3-day stretch. I watched for like 2 hours. I saw the first like 3 episodes, and then I saw like the second 4, and then the last 3 separate nights. I think it was like 2 weeks ago I watched it. It was all right. I don't think it was as bad as people were thinking it was going to be. Probably because Kevin James was able to carry himself, but it was an interesting kind of like plot, I guess, at the end of it. But I feel like all shows do that at the end of a season when they know there's a possibility of another season, so it kind of left you with that little bit of a cliffhanger, but so there could be a second season. I don't know what you're talking about, Ravish, but what the heck? They had this 911, the show on Fox called 911, and it was that Chicago or was it 911? I don't even know. There's so many of those types of shows. I don't know which one's which. I don't watch any of them. There was a bus like halfway up a skyscraper, like halfway. Like, how would that happen? Yeah, Dirt Bristol. 21 days. I wish I could go. I'm bummed out. I hope they bring it back next year just so I can go. That's the only reason. Even if it's not as great. I think it's going to be better than what most people are expecting, but I don't expect it to be very... It's going to be a Dust Bowl, though. I guess that's why they're having it in March. Because if it was going to be a couple months later, it would have been even worse of a Dust Bowl. So maybe it'll be at least somewhat cool enough, like 60 degrees. If it's anything above like 75 degrees that day, it's going to be a Dust Bowl. It's got the capability of not being as much of a Dust Bowl as long as the temperature stays low. Especially if it's overcast. They're lined up for the restart. Denny Hamlin will restart on the bottom. Same spot he took the lead on from the bottom lane on the front row last time after the competition yellow at lap 25. And Keselowski will restart on the top. Blaney and Bowman behind those two with Blaney on the bottom, Bowman on the top. And how about Matty D up into the top 5 looking very fast today? Green flag back in the air. Blaney giving Hamlin a heck of a push on the inside. Trying to shoot him out in front of Keselowski while Bowman is also bum drafting Brad on the outside. Discount tire Brad. 3 wide in the middle. Almost some contact with the 20 and the 5 car. Harvick all the way to the inside of the 18 further back. They might have made contact. Doesn't look like there's a tire rub, at least on Christopher Bell and Kyle Larson. Blaney's got a run on the top after a push from Bowman off the exit of turn 4. Now he's going to help his teammate Keselowski try to get out in front of Hamlin, and he does. 1-2, Penske with Blaney up to second. Keselowski in first. Blaney seems to have a good short run car. Again, he fades on the long run. If he can get to the lead for the first time and get some clean air, we'll really get to see how he is on the long run. But in traffic on the long run, it doesn't seem like he's that great after about 20, 25 laps. So it might be tough for Keselowski to hold him off for right now. But then Brad looks like he's got a very strong long run car. Might be able to swing back around him after about 20 laps or so. Alex Bowman looking faster and faster. Had a very good race. Both races really finished 6th in the fall last season at Las Vegas. And in the springtime, Bowman was in 2nd until caution came out with 2 laps to go. He came to pit road along with Blaney. Both of those 2 drivers were costed a 1-2 finish to finishing both outside the top 10. Bowman finished 13th in that race. And how about Matt DiBenedetto to the inside of Denny Hamlin for 3rd place. Blaney a good run down the backstretch in the draft of Keselowski. Both choosing the bottom, though. Now Blaney fakes to the middle. I don't think he's going to get as good of a run this time on the front stretch, and Keselowski gaps him by about a half a car length. Byron giving a huge push to Larson down the front stretch. to the back of Denny Hamlin. Matt DiBenedetto trying to hang on the inside. DiBenedetto clear of Hamlin for third off the exit of turn 4. And now he's trying to block him and hang on to the spot. Fords 1, 2, 3 at the beginning. 2 Penske's and an affiliated Penske of the Wood brothers. DiBenedetto looks really, really fast early on. This is as fast as we've seen both Blaney and DiBenedetto so far this year. More aggressive side drafting back, this time between teammates of Byron and Larson. Byron looking really fast here, trying to pick up where he left off after winning Homestead a week ago. Definitely the best start to his season Byron has had by far in his early 4 seasons. So Eric Jones hit the wall, it looked like, down the backstretch. No major tire rub. He lost a few spots, but still out there running. There's a little bit of damage, but it doesn't look like the fenders are too far caved in. Got really loose when Stenhouse got in line behind him. Barely grazed the outside wall with the right rear, so he didn't really pancake it. That's good. Ryan Preece starting to charge forward along with Stenhouse, both running 14th and 15th. Stenhouse had a top 10. He finished 3rd in the spring last year at Vegas. And Harvick still hovering right around 15th. Bo Wallace is 4 laps down now, so he's got one of his laps back. He was 5 laps down. Again, Fox did not state why Bubba Wallace fell 5 laps down. He must have had some sort of an issue. Maybe like battery related or something of that nature. But yeah, that's very strange. They haven't announced anything, but he's 4 laps down. He has gotten one of his laps back. So we'll keep an eye to see if he can maybe even get back on the lead lap. The more cautions we get as this race carries forward, the more of a possibility. But if more guys are going to go a lap down, it's going to be tougher for him to get a free pass if he does get the 1 lap down. He's just going to have to keep taking the wave around if we get these cautions. Outside of the competition, yellow only had 1 caution for incident. Again, that was for debris right around lap 45 earlier. Fox is on a commercial. If we have the comedy relief, as long as... Well, I wouldn't say professional. I mean, I was about to say, it's like he keeps it professional, but that's not professional. I thought the tailgate opened on this diecast. I think it does. It's just not wanting to open. I don't want to break it. It's like slowly... There we go. It's just not as loose as the hood, but yeah, all the fenders open up on it. You can also tell it doesn't have the tall rear spoiler, so you can definitely tell it's a pre-2019 diecast. The hood's very tough to open on this one, though. Like this, I think of all the diecasts I have, this is like the toughest one to open the hood. You almost kind of gotta like turn the wheels to get it from the inside. There we go. It's like the easiest way to do it without scratching it. Trying to dig your fingernails in there. Trying not to laugh. I'll laugh. No big deal. I don't look at the chat that much during the green flag session, so I guess I won't have to worry about it too much. Man, I forgot March Madness. Man, that starts, what, next week? 2 weeks. I should have watched more college basketball this year. Michigan's actually been awesome all season. 2 losses. Well, Blaney's not going far back. It's still early in the run. Less than 20 laps so far, so I guess Blaney's not at that peak where he was starting to fall off. I think they'll have to work on that going forward if you get longer green flag runs in this race. No competition yellows the rest of the way, so we'll see how long this start to the stage will go, and we'll see if we get green flag pit stops as well. Kyle Larson, after fading back to the back half of the top 10 at the end of stage number 1 due to staying out of the pits for that final restart with just over 25 laps to go, is back up to third. He is charging after the leaders, going to the high side. Elliott up to 14th. He is charging through the field right now after restarting at the back. Repairing the damage on the right side of his car. They haven't showed the right side yet to see how much they exactly repaired. I don't think they were ever going to be able to fully get it repaired the way it just kind of caved in at the bottom. I'm surprised that they did try to repair it because he was running well before that. And the track position means so much with this package. Larson did get to second, by the way, and Blaney is at that point in the run where he's starting to fade on the long run. And William Byron with a little crossover to get underneath him and try to get up to third place, and he's got it. So, yeah, it looks like Blaney's got a good short run car, one of the better short run cars, but as the run carries longer, 20, 25 plus laps in, he starts to fade. So that could be a problem, especially at this point in the race. We're not going to be, I mean, I should say that they have shown a lot of aggressiveness so far. That is for sure, despite it being fairly early. And Larson now is to the inside of Keselowski for the lead at the line. Brad leads another lap, but Kyle Larson is right there, got a big side draft, sends it off into turn 1. Keselowski tried to stay on the right rear, but he couldn't get down quick enough, and Kyle Larson takes the lead at Las Vegas. So Larson did do a great job taking the lead on one shot, really. I mean, they didn't stay side by side for longer than a half a straightaway with Keselowski, which has been tough today. It seems like battle for the lead. They're side by side for at least a couple laps for somebody could pull clear. Keselowski comes off the top and goes to the bottom because Larson running his usual line on the outside now. And Brad almost got underneath him, but not quite. A little swing and a miss right there. See if he goes back down to the bottom again. He does. Larson goes to the bottom trying to take the line away, and you can see the 2-car slide up the racetrack immediately after Larson took the line away from Keselowski. And because of that loss of momentum, Byron's on the gas, and he's going for second. He gets to the inside of Keselowski. A battle between the Penske Fords and the Hendrick Chevrolets all day at the start. If you count DiBenedetto as an affiliated Penske driver, they fill up the top 7 outside of Hamlin running 5th. Crazy. And you got Bell and Truex in the top 10 for JGR as well in the top 9. And even another Penske, Logano, still back there in 10th. Having a pretty good day so far, at least scoring some stage points, staying in the top 10. Stenhouse continues to move forward. Keep an eye on him. Again, he finished 3rd here in the spring race last year. He's up to 11th. By the end of the last stage, he was getting up to right about 15th after fading before the competition yellow, so he's slowly working himself through the field, and Elliott is still in 14th. Kind of stalled out once he got that far through the field. How much of his tires did he use in those first 30 laps of the stage? Roberto Sandoval, welcome to the stream. Odie Lassiter, welcome as well. Yes, the race is on Fox today. I look different. Byron Keselowski continued to battle for second. Brad on the outside. Byron on the inside. And he does stay low. Now side drafting Keselowski halfway down the backstretch, trying to drive it deep into the corner. And he's got clearance if he moves up quickly, but Brad's going to get a run off the exit of 4. Might try to get a crossover. I think he's too far back to do it. And William Byron to second. Easily cleared him off 4 half a lap ago. Gaps him quite a bit again going to the bottom in 1 and 2. So Byron's running the inside of the racetrack very well. Blaney's still holding on to 4th right now. I'm quite surprised. He moved back pretty quickly once Larson and Byron got up into the top 3. But he's still only a little less than a second and a half off the lead. So he's not fading as bad as he did earlier in stage 1. I didn't even see that comment from Ravish earlier. Came to watch a race with friends. Got a grown adult man playing with a race car toy, getting confused about how to open up the trunk. It was the hood, not the trunk. No, it was the trunk. The deck lid. Technical terms. This is one of my favorite die casts because this is one of the first bigger scale die casts that I got. Yeah, the roof flap opens up too. And I love this paint scheme, and this is when Blaney won the Roval, his first win in the 12 car for Penske, so. Very memorable day. Remember him winning that race and me just yelling after Johnson and Truex spun. I immediately knew Blaney was in third and he had a chance to steal it, and he did. I do need to figure out a different setup for my, maybe not for the streams, but for like the actual videos itself. Try to get my diecast in the background, but I don't know how I'm going to do that without like maybe building shelves in my room or something. Yeah, I don't drink, by the way. I did see that earlier. Yeah, my grandparents have a Dale Earnhardt Sr. car that's in the shape of a phone, too. I don't think it works anymore, but I do know they have that. My grandpa was a senior fan. He would always get upset when other people would, like, damage our cart, like when we were go-kart racing, because he owned it. And he would always get mad about that, but he was a Dale Sr. fan, and, like, all Dale Sr. did was ruffle feathers, especially in the 90s. That's what he was known for, being the intimidator. When other people did it to him, he got so upset, backing me up. Probably because I was young and I was racing with adults and they knew that I couldn't really do much. And I was a clean racer too. Denny Hamlin did get around Keselowski. This is as far back as Keselowski has faded on a long run. Even Blaney got around him. Brad looked really good on the long run at stage 1. Shooting back around Elliott back and forth at the end of the stage. Elliott's actually back to 15th now, so he got up to 14th on the restart, stalled out, now he's going backwards as well. A lot of comers and goers today. Top 3, or I should say top 2, within a half a second, but Blaney is 3 seconds back in third. Hamlin's been about 4 to 6 tenths of a second behind Blaney consistently, even after passing Keselowski. And Keselowski, all of a sudden, is 4.5, nearly 5 seconds off the lead. We're halfway through the stage, so green flag pit stops will likely end up starting pretty soon here. I'd imagine some guys are going to try to split this stage in half. And Bubba Wallace is back to 6 laps down again. So, yeah, something happened to Wallace that he's running slow and off the pace. He had to have had a mechanical failure to be that many laps down. Again, he was 5 laps down halfway through the first stage. Yep, Logano coming to pit road, so he is the first driver as well. Bell into the pits. And it looks like Bowman in the Ally Chevrolet. Yep, he is on pit road as well. Four tire stops all the way around for these guys pitting right now, as kind of expected. And Harvick also going to pit. He's been outside the top 10 all day. This race is flying by. I guess we've only had one caution for incident, so fairly quick race pace. A lot of action, though. Keselowski, Hamlin on pit road as well. There's so much of a difference of tire fall off. These guys pitting that were inside the top 10 right now, or even in the top 5, like Keselowski, Hamlin, Larson, the race leader, now on the pit road. Truex is in the pits as well. These guys splitting this in half. The leaders almost have to come down to pit road with them, or they're going to lose too much time with the way the tire fall off. William Byron's still on the racetrack. I think Blaney's on the racetrack still as well. We'll see if they come to pit road soon. Chase Elliott is down into the pits. They did repair a little bit of that damage on the right side, but not a whole lot of it. Ryan Preece on pit road. He had an oil leak. I didn't even know that. Blaney is on pit road, so Byron's staying out. I'm not sure why Rudy Fugle and that team is staying out of the pits and everybody else is coming down. He is going to lose a ton of time because of the tire fall off, and Larson sliding the tires getting to pit road. One of the more difficult pit roads to get onto on the 1.5 miles, so. I do have to say, if Blaney ever wins a race while we're doing these streams, you're gonna see me about as happy as you'll ever see me on the channel. Or a live race reaction. Or not a live race reaction. This is a live race reaction. A live, like if I'm at the track in person and vlogging the race, because I always try to like get the finish at least. And some other highlights throughout and the start. And if he like wins ever, and I go there in person, like that'll be even. I might lose my voice. Something like that happen. Yeah, if he's down on oil pressure, that would explain a lot, though, if he had an oil leak. Byron still has not hit the pits. I'm surprised Benedetto stayed out as long as he did as well. He was in the top 10. A lot of the guys staying out right now are, outside of Byron at least, are Reddick, McDowell, Alfredo, LaJoy, and now Byron comes into pit road with 32 to go on the stage, so about 8 laps after the first car of Logano hit pit road. So that will give Reddick the race lead when he gets back to the start-finish line. And I think those guys at the rear of the lead lap, like Reddick, is just going to stay out as long as they can. And they could probably go right around 15 to 20 laps to go on the stage before they have to hit the pits. If they did try to run as far as they can. Try to trap as many guys a lap down as possible. Almirola's not had a great run either. He's on pit road. Larson is the first driver right now of the guys that have already pitted. Hamlin is second. And then Byron, Blaney's coming in fast, so Byron's trying to get up to speed. So I think, Blaney will get around him in 3 and 4. So, indeed, Byron staying out 8 laps longer. That is huge on this racetrack, and they costed him not only the lead, but it looks like he'll eventually be in 4th by the time they cycle through. That was a very, very... I don't think that was a very bright call, to say the least. Bowman almost got around him, too. Lap car Timmy Hill got in the way, so... Almost back to 5th there for Byron. Eventual 5th. I don't know if they have Nellis on the back. No, it looks like it just says Las Vegas Motor Speedway on the back. I just saw it. Larson is already past Cole Custer's on pit road. Never mind. I didn't realize he came into the pits. Reddick is still the race leader and still has not pitted. McDowell is also on the racetrack. Corey LaJoie is on the track. I think there's 5 cars. Fox doesn't have the leaderboard up on my screen anymore for whatever reason. They are showing a side-by-side, though. And now they're going to commercial. Oh, there it is. Suarez and Alfredo are also on the racetrack, so both the front row cars are trying to stay out and play this track position game, try to trap some guys a lap down if they get a caution. Yeah, definitely this is the worst McDowell's looked of the first 4 races, but you had to imagine they were going to snap back to reality at some point this year. I like the way they have the battery on these cars. Like, it actually looks somewhat real. Like, in the rear. I don't know, it's just like the little details I find. The nickname Fast Pasta. My mom laughed. I think we were watching Daytona 500 qualifying downstairs, and we were watching, and I mentioned that was his nickname, and she's like, really? And then Mike Joy literally said, like, his nickname right after I did. It's like, they call him Fast Pasta, and she laughed so hard. She thought that was funny. Which I guess to someone that doesn't watch NASCAR every day, they'd be like, yeah, that's kind of weird. It's like it makes sense, but it's like, really? That's his nickname? Yeah, Fast Pasta. Something's wrong with the rear end housing. You guys probably can't tell, but the right rear looks like it's spaced from the back fender a little bit. But the left rear is as well. Well, maybe that's just the way it is. I don't know. It's wobbling a little bit. What happened to the rear suspension? I don't know. Something just happened to that. Yep, Tyler Reddick did come to pit road. NASCAR is back. Live on Fox. Surprised Reddick didn't just stay out as long as he possibly could. I'd imagine he could have went a little further. these guys are probably going to pit before 15 to go on the stage. That's about as far as I think McDowell, the rest of the field, can go. Now, if he wants to stay on the lead lap, they're going to have to take a 2-tire stop, but even then, I don't know if they're going to stay on the lead lap. Larson's only 9.5 seconds behind. Corey LaJoie also on the racetrack in third. So McDowell, Alfredo, LaJoie, top three. Then Larson, Suarez has to pit still. He's in fifth. Then Keselowski, Hamlin, Blaney, Byron, and Bowman, the top 10. I made it a little too... Watch like Blaney have a rear suspension issue by the end of this race. With the diecast, it's like a voodoo doll. It's the same paint scheme. Oh, something is wrong with the rear end housing of Blaney's car. Looks like it broke and he just slapped the outside wall. It'd be hilarious. Well, it'd be painful for me as a Blaney fan, but... Oh, that'd be terrible. I didn't even realize Corey LaJoie's got his face on the car again. Kyle Larson is less than 5 seconds off the lead in third place after getting around Corey LaJoie about a lap and a half ago. Larson will take the eventual lead. When everything cycles through, he's about 5.5 to 6 seconds ahead of Keselowski. Then Hamlin will eventually be in third, Blaney will be in fourth, and Byron in fifth. Again, William Byron falls back to eventually fifth after the cycling of pit stops because his pit crew left him out 8 laps longer than everybody else. I don't know if they were thinking maybe they could get a caution and trap those guys a lap down. It's the only thing I could think of why they would have logistically stayed out. That basically dropped him a couple chances at stage points. And with a guy already in the playoffs like William Byron, I feel like you're trying to get every playoff point you can. You have an opportunity to win the stage. You would think he would have tried to, play the strategy to hold on to the lead. But that just wasn't the case. Michael McDowell, by the way, is on pit road. From the lead, I would imagine Alfredo will come in behind him. No, Alfredo stays out. So Anthony Alfredo in the lead. But Larson right behind him. So Larson's going to take the lead. Alfredo will likely pit this time. And Kyle Larson, the new leader with 13 laps to go in stage 2. I'll tell you what, Chase Elliott in traffic versus Chase Elliott out in front, there's a big difference. Elliott looked like he had one of the faster cars when he had the track position and he had cleaner air on those restarts, but back in traffic, he can't get back into the top 10. They could have kept that track position if they didn't repair any damage on pit road. Car looked a little loose, but it didn't look that bad. Corey LaJoie still on the racetrack. He's in 4th right now. He's the last driver that has to hit the pits. There's 12 laps to go in stage 1. As Fox is running a side-by-side right now. And again, Keselowski is in 2nd. We're probably going to need a caution to catch Larson before the end of stage 2. Good battle going on between Ryan Blaney and William Byron for 4th. It's about the closest battle on the track, in the top 5 at least. You can see Bowman further back in 6th, but he's kind of ways behind him, and they get to racing with each other. Maybe Bowman rather, will have a chance to catch him. Yes, okay, welcome to the stream. Yeah, that's on the crew chief, though. That's Rudy Fugel's decision for whether, when they come to pit road. And for whatever reason, they stayed out. Byron did just pass Blaney for 4th that last lap. But he is definitely not going to get a stage win now unless we get a caution and they have a fast pit stop or decide to stay out again and try to get the point. I don't know. We'll just have to wait and see. Only time's going to tell. Chase Elliott is back in the top 10. By the time everybody pitted, I guess he has moved a little bit closer. We're waiting on those top guys to pit, so he's in 10th. Kyle Busch is having a quiet day, but he's in the back half of the top 10 and 9th right now, so he's slowly moving forward. He looked like about a 15th-place car at the beginning, and that's kind of been the story of Kyle Busch this season. He hasn't had the fastest car by any means, not a fast car really at all, but they keep chipping away. They don't bring a great car to the racetrack. By the end of the day, Kyle Busch, or KFB, is able to find a way to get a top 10 one way or another. That has happened in each of the last 2 races. It looks like that's kind of the day Kyle Busch is having so far. Once again, not a fast car at the start. They keep working on it. Kyle's giving them the information to get the car the way he wants it to. And they're in position to maybe get a top 10 again today. So all 4 Hendrick Chevrolets and all 4 Joe Gibbs Toyotas are in the top 10. Incredible. 2 Penske's in the top 5. Logano was in the top 10 for a long time, but after the cycling of pit stops, despite being the first driver to come to pit road, is outside the top 10. No Stewart-Haas Chevrolets. They are not doing well at all. The furthest running Stewart-Haas car in the running order is Kevin Harvick in 15th. Harvick was one of the must-haves in the predictions for today's race. I'm very shocked he's not running well. He might be able to get a top 10 by the end, which is really all that matters. I mean, if you could just get a top 10 out of your fantasy guy, even if he doesn't score a lot of stage points, that's still pretty good. And actually, that reminds me, I'm going to take Harvick out of my lineup before I forget. Going to put Bowman in there. I'll gladly save Harvick an extra start. I almost forgot about my fantasy lineup until just now. Good thing I noticed because there's only a couple laps to go in the stage. So put Bowman in, taking out Harvick. That's good, though. I've only used Harvick once in the first 4 races, then, technically. Watch Bowman crash now. It's like, oh, no. Larson a 4-second lead. He had about 6 seconds on Keselowski, so either Larson's backed it off knowing that the stage win is there as long as we don't get a caution, or Brad Keselowski is that much faster than Larson. Again, Brad led a lot at the beginning of this stage. Also won stage 1. Larson's been very, very fast. He was one of the sleeper picks, and he is definitely proving why he was a sleeper pick for today's race on my predictions video. Harvick back to 16th now as Ryan Preece gets around him for position. Indeed. Stewart-Haas right now is 16th with Harvick. Briscoe's 23rd, Almirola's 25th, and Custer's 27th. It's unbelievable how far off they are from those other 3 top teams in today's race of Penske, Joe Gibbs Racing, and Hendrick. Ganassi cars are not doing well at all today either. Kurt Busch is 13th and Chastain's 20th. Chastain's actually the last car of the lead lap right now. 2 laps to go, by the way, in stage number 1. A little less than 2 laps. Larson will be coming around to the final lap of the stage this time. Keselowski 3.5 seconds back. So again, I'm not sure if Brad's just that much faster in the longer run now after adjustments they may have made. He's gained about 2.5 seconds in the last 30 laps. Larson has 2 runner-up finishes and a 3rd-place finish at Las Vegas between the years of 2016 and 2018. So we'll see. Kyle Larson going to win stage 2 off turn 4, 3.5 seconds ahead of Keselowski. Hamlin 4.5 seconds off the lead will finish 3rd. Byron 4th. Blaney 5th. Christopher Bell jumps up to 6th. Alex Bowman 7th. Bowman actually passed Bell off turn 4 for 6th. Bell 7th. Truex, followed by Kyle Busch. Switch Kurt Busch and Logano, put Kurt in. I don't know. Kurt Busch hasn't even ran in the top 10. I know Logano has faded, but he at least scored some stage points today. You might be able to get more out of it by the end of the race. Maybe not by much, but unless you have hopes of playing Logano more than Kurt Busch later this year. I mean, that could be a strategic plan in the long run. But yeah, Keselowski wins stage 1, Larson wins stage 2, and they're already going to the final stage. Race is flying by. Well, I was talking about stage 2 possibly going caution-free, and if it does, we'll see what stage 3 will bring. Again, the only caution was for debris midway through stage 1, outside of the competition yellow and the stage brakes. Yeah, you have to switch it out before the start of the... before the end of stage 2. I'm glad I jumped on that with a couple laps left because Harvick is not doing good at all. Bowman scored stage points in both stages. Harvick has finished in the top 10 of the first 3 races this year, so trying to have a top 10 streak to start the year. That might come to an end today. I'm in position to score a lot of bonus points right now. I'm just putting that out there. Keselowski. I have the top Chevrolet of Larson, top Ford of Keselowski, top Toyota of Truex. Denny Hamlin looks like the fastest Toyota right now. And then Keselowski is my pick to win. So I have Ford in victory lane and Penske winning. And Brad looks fast. So he'd get a lot of those points. And Larson obviously looks fast too for the Chevy bonus points. So I'm in position to get a lot of bonus points. If Brad wins and Larson finishes second, I'm going to have a huge week in fantasy this week. Inside Uranus is in the lead right now. He's got 244. Who does he have? He's got Byron, Blaney, Keselowski, and Bowman. And DiBenedetto. All of his guys are in the top 7 right now. That's why he's ahead. And he picked Bowman to win. Crazy. Tyler Reddick got the free pass at the end of stage 2 as well. Sounds like Bowman might be having an issue after I just took him out of the lineup. Smelled smoke inside the race car. And he had a vibration at the end of the stage, but he was able to hang on for 6th. I love Kyle Busch's paint scheme, by the way, this week. They are on pit road. Everybody is pretty much. Outside of the drivers taking the wave around under the stage break, and Kyle Larson wins the race off pit road pretty easily. Denny Hamlin, 2nd. Bowman gains 3 spots. Truex gains 4. Keselowski and Blaney, the big losers. Keselowski losing 5. Blaney losing 3. Logano up 4. Into the top 10 again. Boyer's trying to get a hold of Larson during the stage 2 break right now, and he's not able to, and he's just like cracking a bunch of jokes. He's being Boyer at this point. That was an exact equivalent representation of when you're trying to call customer service and they hang up on you after like 2 minutes, and then you have to wait on hold again for another 10. That was exactly the Kurt Busch and Kyle Larson conversation that they had right there, or the lack of conversation. Texting somebody real quick. I'll get the chat back up here in a couple seconds. Guess I don't really have any more comments to look at right now. Hopefully you guys are enjoying the race, though. This has been a great race up to this point. Great race. Maybe everybody's taking their bathroom break during the stage 2 so they don't miss the end of it. Post-race analysis video will be out by the end of the night, by the way, no matter what. Went to the bathroom. There's a comment to look. I called it. I said, I bet everybody's taking their bathroom breaks right now because everybody left at once during the stage break. Like, we had 10 people watching, end of the stage, down to 3. They'll be back here by the time we go green. And they will be going green this time, by the way. So, again, it'll be Hamlin and Larson on the front row, and again, Hamlin on the inside, Larson on the outside. So, it's the third time they've been on the front row with one another already today due to Hamlin's very fast pit stops and Larson just being up at the front basically this whole race, especially in Stage 2 as we saw him win Stage 2. Fans on their feet into the Geico restart zone. Larson will lead the field to the green. We will have 100 laps of racing to go at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Larson's got his teammate Bowman on the outside right behind him, but Hamlin's got his teammate of Truex and Kyle Busch on the inside behind him, and Larson didn't even need a push from Bowman. What a restart from Kyle Larson as he slides down to the bottom in front of Hamlin. Hamlin loses the bottom of the track as he goes high to the left rear of Larson, gives him a shot as he needs to get going again, and Truex looking for his first lead of the day. They are fanning way out. Larson's on the apron, Harvick on the apron, further back in the pack, trying to get to the inside of Kurt Busch, and does. Larson somehow holds on to the lead. Hamlin, Truex side by side for second. Blaney, Keselowski, Jones, Bell. That's like the third time I've called Bell Jones today. I don't know why. I think it was from NASCAR Heat last night. So Larson leads, but Hamlin charges to the outside off turn 2. Battle is not done, and Hamlin is there looking for the lead. Elliott goes around down the backstretch. DiBenedetto misses to the inside. Back in front of traffic goes Elliott. They're missing to the inside and the outside. Nobody hits him, and caution is out. What a save by Chase Elliott. Contact and damage on the left front of Elliott's race car. Might have sent him around. Wasn't a big wreck, but that had implications of it. Wow. More damage to the 9 car of Elliott. What a save to keep this car even in the race. Looked like Kurt Busch. Kurt Busch got a little bit of damage on his right rear. That is why there's damage on Elliott's car. Elliott just got loose on his own on the outside of the racetrack. We mentioned he was loose earlier in the race, still battling those same conditions. And what a miss to the inside for DiBenedetto, and it looked like Ryan Newman as well. Actually, no, that's Buescher in the 17. So, a little bit of damage on Kurt Busch and Chase Elliott's car after Elliott spins off 4, losing control on his own on the outside. Again, he is battling a loose car for most of the day just by looking at it. Haven't really heard much word on if it is loose, but we have seen him get a little sideways a couple times, and that time right there, he missed. And boy, great job by everybody missing him, both to the inside and the outside. There's no grass on the backstretch anymore at Vegas. That clean pavement made it a lot easier for everybody to miss down low. Elliott has been pretty far behind his teammates today on speed since the start of Stage 2 and losing that track position. And there is definite damage on Kurt Busch's car, so they have to repair that. Aiden Rowland, welcome to the stream. Been pretty good. Hopefully you have too. Yeah, there's damage on Elliott's left front. Again, he just got loose on his own, lost control of the race car, what he radioed in. But yeah, glad you're back, Aiden. Sometimes I wonder how long the same commercials have been playing. Like, how many years has it been that Geico commercial with the turtles has been out? It feels like it's been out for a while. Maybe it just feels like that because they show the same commercials over and over and over again. That Snickers commercial is hilarious, by the way, as well. That dude not wearing any pants, and he walks in thinking that the meeting was going to be on Zoom, and it's actually at his house. I think they have the bubble cam in the booth this week, so it makes Gordon look even in height with the other two. Like, yeah, Jeff looks a little short from the shot, so we're gonna... I'm kidding. It's probably the tight box that they're in. So some definite damage on the left front of Elliott's car. They are duct taping that. There was a hole right in the left front. So he is under the damage clock policy. There's not enough damage that would keep him out of the race, though. He should be able to continue. So mostly everybody missed him. Kurt Busch, unfortunately, did not, causing the damage of both Elliott and Busch's car. Speaking of Busch, how about Kyle Busch? Continuing to work his way forward. He's in the top 5 for the first time today. He'll restart on the inside of the second row. Hamlin and Larson on the front row for the 4th time with one another today. This time, Larson's on the bottom and Hamlin is on the top. I'm surprised. Larson took off great on the outside last time, but he's going to go to the inside. Joe Gibbs Toyotas, though, lined up on the top, and another Toyota for Joe Gibbs behind Larson. Green flag back in the air. Keselowski laid back on that restart. I don't know if that was with intent or not. Maybe he spun the tires and didn't get going, but he was nowhere close to the back bumper of the 19. 2x2 as they roll off into turn 1. Hamlin trying to hold Larson on the bottom of the track, an aggressive side draft right now. 3 drivers bump drafting simultaneously there. Keselowski pushing Truex as Truex pushes Hamlin. A huge run. Denny Hamlin to the lead again here today at Vegas. Again, I'm not sure why Larson restarted on the bottom. I guess he was outmanned with those teammates in line either way, but even still, Larson had such a great restart on the top before. I'm surprised he didn't go to it again. So after the Toyotas being fairly silent, despite all running in the top 10 for most of the second half of this race up to this point, they now have 3 in the top 6. Busch goes backwards in turns 3 and 4, getting passed by about 3 or 4 cars. Logano is charging out of nowhere back into the top 10 as well, as he is up to 7th. 3 wide further back. Busch gets a little tight, has to get out of the gas. Slides right in front of another car. 3 wide further up as Blaney and Keselowski put Larson in a sandwich. Blaney is up to 3rd. He's shown some great short run speed today. Had that early caution in the stage for an Elliott spin off turn 2. Will that continue? Where he fades after about 20 to 25 laps. So even though he fades, he seems to stay in the top 5. Trouble in turn 1. Eric Almirola's rough day continues. It looks like he's got a flat left front. Right as Fox was going to crank it up. Unfortunate. Damage to both the right side of the car. That was probably damage from the wall, but the left front is flat. That might have been the cause of him getting into the wall. That inner liner, or outer liner, I should say, looks like it's completely torn apart. He's about to come off the race car here. Heavy damage to Almirola's car. He was one of the drivers on the don't have list, living up to the expectations. Blaney was as well, but again, I kind of expected Blaney to run in the top 10 anyway today. If he did have speed, I just had him as a don't have because it was a risky pick. But Blaney is having a good day. Almirola's rough season continues. 4 races in, not able to bounce back like the Benedetto and Blaney have so far today. Is he ever in the do-have list? Who, Blaney? I'm sure he will be. You get to some of these other tracks that he's got great history at. Talladega would be a good one. Play Blaney. He's pretty good on the road courses. Although he didn't run good on the Daytona road course a couple weeks ago out of random. But he did run well in the Clash. I had him as a sleeper pick. It's tough to. His stats have to be absolutely outstanding for me to put him as a must-have. The reason why he's a sleeper, he's only got 4 career wins, so he's not quite there. But if he starts winning a couple races this season, then he's never going to be a sleeper again. It's either going to be a must-have or a don't-have if he is on the list. Split strategy here. Now, this is interesting. This isn't like earlier when there was about a 15 to 20 lap difference in tires. We have only had a couple green flag laps, maybe 10 at the most of green flag laps, so a lot of drivers came to pit road, but a few of them did stay out. Truex, Hamlin, and Blaney being the top 3 for this restart. It's like Byron and Bell also stayed out of the pits. I think this can work. We'll have to wait and see with staying out. And the only reason, again, we have about 10 laps under green at the most. But the way we've had 2 early cautions in the final stage. It looked like Stenhouse, DiBenedetto stayed out as well. There were at least a dozen cars that looked like they stayed out. So they're going to be back in traffic a little bit. Oh, Eric Almirola? Is he ever on the do-have? Well, there's a reason he's been on the don't-haves. Yeah, he was, I think at Daytona we had him as a must-have. Because he ran well in the duel, and he looked like he had one of the faster cars. He's great on the super speedways. I think Almirola was on my must-haves for the 500. But he got taken out in that early wreck that wasn't his fault while running well. So, but yeah, outside of that, though, I think he's been on the don't-haves the last 3 weeks. And he's had bad luck all 3 weeks. So, I mean, it's good advice if he's not running well. I'm not going to put him in the best, the do-haves or the must-starts. The must-haves if he's not running well. It changes week to week. Again, it depends on the track. I usually go off track success more than anything else, but you do have to play recent success into it, and that was the main reason I had him in the don't-haves. And again, he hasn't finished in the top 10 in the last 3 Vegas races. This is going to be 4 in a row now for Almirola that he will not finish in the top 10 at Vegas. So expect when we get to the playoffs later this year for fantasy and for the predictions video, I'm probably going to have Almirola as a don't-have for Vegas later this year too, because that'll be 4 races now he hasn't finished in the top 10 in a row at Vegas. He had success there. He finished in the top 10 in both races in 2018, but for whatever reason, 2020 didn't go his way at this track, and fall 2019 didn't either. He'll last again. It changes every week, though, Tristan. You just got to keep at it. Got 154 so far. If Keselowski wins the race and I get a lot of bonus points, then there's a good chance I feel like I can win this week, but it's really relying on that because a lot of my guys are running well, but we've got some other guys that are doing better in the fantasy league. Wow, I didn't even realize that either. Larson's never won on a mile and a half. I wouldn't say Larson's an unlikely winner this season because he has run very well all 3 races and make it 4. I guess he's ran well today too. There's a little bit of damage to the left rear corner panel of Blaney's car as well. Probably from the last restart, it's crinkled just a tiny bit. And no, I did not drop my die cast on the left rear, so that is not why he has damage. First driver on fresh tires is lined up outside the top 10 right now. Kyle Larson will restart back in 17th. So there are a lot of cars that stayed out of the pits. Blaney pushing the back of Hamlin. Hamlin and Truex were on the front row for this restart. Hamlin gets a little out of shape with Blaney pushing him in the center of the corner, allowing Truex to get to the lead. Hamlin's got a big run down the back. Will he make a move? He looks to the right rear corner panel. He does get to the outside of Truex. Sucks him backwards. Hamlin getting a little bit of a run. Truex going to go up the track to side draft Hamlin now. They're side by side for the lead. Almost contact. They're 4 wide. Middle of the pack now. Corey LaJoie got pinched on the bottom with Kurt Busch barely to his outside. 38 car of Alfredo was also in the mix back there. Truex again holds Hamlin off. Keselowski on fresh tires is already clicked into the top 10. He has moved up quicker than anybody else in the first 2 laps on those fresh tires. So keep an eye on Keselowski. Might pick to win today's race. Blaney and Byron were side by side for the first 2.5 laps of the stage. Blaney finally holds on to third. Byron lost a lot of momentum off turn 2, and Christopher Bell is now to the inside. Bell trying to go for his second win early in the season. I'm scared I even mentioned anything about the Voodoo Blaney. I haven't done anything bad to it, except for noticing that the rear end was bad, so if he has a rear end problem. Blaney is charging, though. Again, he's had a really, really good car on the short run. He is on the inside of Denny Hamlin for second place, but look at Keselowski on fresh tires. Byron as well on fresh tires, already into the top 5. Blaney trying to clear Hamlin up the track, couldn't do it. Hamlin slides a little wide in front of Keselowski. Keselowski 3 wide to the inside of Blaney and Hamlin down the backstretch. Brad's got a huge run into turn 3, stays low. Byron coming on the outside as well, and all these drivers on fresher tires. Larson is in the 6th as well, charging to the front. Blaney's starting to go backwards now. He is getting eaten alive on those old tires. Hamlin still on the outside of Keselowski, trying to side draft him. Byron, Larson. Larson, of course, running the high line near the wall, trying to get around Byron. Byron's going to have a run. He'll clear Blaney into turn 3. Larson up the middle. He clears Blaney. Blaney gets tight and has to get out of the gas. And how about Matt DiBenedetto also on fresh tires? Up to 7th. Now to the inside of Blaney. DiBenedetto going for 6th. Showing up late, though he has been right around the back half of the top 10 all day. Hovering right around that 8th to 13th position all race. Hamlin and Keselowski still side by side. Now, those tires will even out at some point during this run. Those first 10 laps are going to be the most important with having about 10 lap fresher tires. Again, showing why tires are pretty relevant here at Vegas. I'll have 75 to go this time by. Race running order right now is Truex in the lead, followed by Hamlin, Keselowski, Larson, Byron the top 5, Blaney DiBenedetto, Bell, Stenhouse Jr., and Eric Jones the top 10. Hamlin squeezing Truex up the track, and Truex stays to the outside. Now he ducks to the inside with a crossover. Huge run coming by the 5 and the 2 behind as they battle hard for the lead. Larson to the bottom of the track underneath Keselowski as he has been for a half a lap. Larson drives it in deep into 1 and 2. Now he's on the inside of the 19 for second. Larson with a block on Keselowski for third. Truex, meanwhile, to the inside of Hamlin, sucks the air off the left rear. Truex to the bottom of the track. Back and forth, they go battling for the lead. He clears Hamlin, shuts the door. Hamlin with a crossover to the bottom. What a battle for the lead with the Joe Gibbs Racing Toyotas getting a little heated right now. Hamlin pulls up in front of the 19 and Truex and barely clears him. Larson with another run to the inside of the 19 now. Again, remember Hamlin and Truex on older tires. They're only wearing them out even more, battling as hard for the lead as they are. But the battle further back. Larson with a block on Keselowski into turn number 1. Larson slides up the track. Keselowski back to the inside of Larson. Truex holds on to second. Byron's got to run to the back bumper, going to try to help his teammate Larson out on the top. Blaney hangs with these guys after fending off to Benedetto. He is close back in to try and get into the top 5 again. As these battles continue, it's going to start evening the tires out. Hamlin holds the clean air at the front of the pack, about 3 car lengths ahead of Truex. Larson zings by on the outside, clearing Truex off turn 2 for second, finally. Blaney to the inside of Byron for 5th. Great run to the inside for Blaney that time. Keselowski gets by Truex. Truex falling backwards in traffic a little more. Great crossover by Byron after Blaney put the slide job on him. Byron gets right back around the 12th car again for 6th. 5th, rather. Truex fighting back on Keselowski, gets to his inside for 3rd. Larson slightly closing in on Denny Hamlin for the race lead. Dropped to the inside that time to pick a different line when Hamlin ran the top. Again, Larson on a little bit fresher tires. Why would you even waste money putting 10 grand on Josh Bilicki to win this race? Like, that's not like an upset. Like, that would be an upset if he pulled it off, but it's a Rick Ware car. Like, you know they're not going to finish inside the top 20 without luck. Let alone top 10, top 5 win on a mile and a half. It'd be a little different if it was a super speedway maybe, but that was just a dumb bet. I don't care if it wins you $10 million. It's a dumb bet. But if he's willing to spend $10,000 on basically nothing because he didn't get anything in return, he's obviously got a lot more money than where that came from. Byron and Blaney just keep going back and forth for 5th. Blaney back to the inside of William Byron for position. Christopher Bell's back up to 7th. He was one of the drivers that stayed out, so I think the tires have kind of evened out by this point in the run. Again, Truex isn't fading back as much as what it looked like he was about to. Blaney's on older tires. He's battling Byron pretty well right now, and he's back into 5th. Trying to get away from William. And Hamlin, of course, is still the leader on old tires. So again, you get 10 laps plus laps in to this run with those 10-lap fresher tires. It makes a difference initially, but not enough on the long run if you can just hang on to the track position and have a good restart. And obviously have a fast car to show for it as well. I know, imagine having 10K to spend. I know, that's what I'm saying. That guy obviously has way more money than where that came from. There had to have been other guys he could have betted for that would have been, obviously not as good of odds, but at the same time, more logical that could have won, that he could have won. Maybe not 10 million, but he could have won like 100 grand or something for. But I guess that's not good enough for him. And he probably didn't even have to spend as much. I think he must have actually bet in Vegas, because I know on my betting site that I do for basically like with NASCAR when I gamble, whoever I have like even in my predictions video to win the race, that's who I put money on. I throw $30 on, and but anyway, the max bet I think you can make on there is like $5,000. Like it won't online, it won't let you make more than $5,000 bets. So he must have like actually been in Vegas to do that. It's like the guy who always puts down 1.5 million on this comes away. Yeah. You got. I think to put like that kind of money on a bet, you have to actually go to Vegas and go to these actual sportsbook places. Like you can't do it online. It just won't let you online. Tyler Burback, welcome to the stream. A risky move in stage 2 in fantasy. Put Harvick in the garage for Austin Dillon. I mean, Harvick hasn't ran well. I think you're going to get less starts out of Austin Dillon this year. And Dillon's got potential to run a couple spots better than Harvick. I don't think Dillon's going to get a top 10 today, but I don't think Harvick is either. So, the way this race has gone. So, I think that's a good move there, Tyler. It saves you because you're probably going to use Harvick way more this year. And Harvick's actually back to 20th right now. So, there was a lead change under the commercial break that we missed because they were on a commercial break as Kyle Larson jumps to the lead once again, passing Denny Hamlin. Looking for that trend of 4 different somewhat unlikely winners. Again, Larson's somewhat unlikely because before the season started, I did not expect Larson to win a race this early in the season. But as competitive as he has run in the first 4 races of the year, it makes sense that team is close to getting wins. They probably could have won the Daytona Road Course if he didn't slide into the wall there late. I'll tell you what, the first 2 drivers to win for Hendrick this year, maybe the 2 more unlikely drivers to win at Hendrick of Byron and Larson. If Larson seals the deal, still 59 laps to go. Hamlin is losing ground now that he has lost the clean air. There's a little bit of lap traffic as well that probably isn't helping. But Kyle Larson is off to a nearly 1 second lead. How about a solid day for Eric Jones running 10th right now? Richard Petty Motorsports Equipment. He's been in the top 10 for pretty much this entire final stage so far. About 30, 40 laps. On green flag action, that's pretty good. So 6 cautions, 3 for incident, by the way, today. 2 accidents and a debris caution. Yeah, Larson was really good before running for Ganassi. Ganassi's just not that top Chevy team like Hendrick is. Ganassi's like B tier equipment. It's good. It's like B plus tier equipment. It's good enough that Larson could win a race or 2 a year on average. Kurt Busch can win about a race a year, but as far as competing for a championship goes, likely not going to happen. That's kind of the equipment Ganassi's got in NASCAR. That's kind of the equipment they've really always had. Because 2019, Larson won one race. He won the All-Star race that year, and then he won at Dover late in the season, too. Kyle Busch didn't have a good restart at all, but he is moving forward on this long run. Up to 6th place, passing William Byron last lap. Larson's got a 1.4 second lead back to Hamlin. Brad Keselowski. He is less than 2 seconds off the lead, 1.8 to be exact. And Ryan Blaney up to 4th, passing Martin Truex Jr. for position. Intervals aren't really changing much for Blaney closing in on Larson. He's closing in on these other guys that are losing Larson. The way Hamlin's dropping off right now, Keselowski looks like he's going to get around him soon, and Blaney could probably get around Hamlin as well and get as high as 3rd during this run. We still have one more pit stop to go through today, whether that is under a caution or during green flag stops. If it's during green flag, remember there were drivers that pitted under the caution. They can go about 10 laps further than some of these other guys like Ryan Blaney, Denny Hamlin, and Martin Truex Jr. They would have to, no matter what, pit 10 laps before everybody else, unless everybody kind of cuts the stage in half anyway, then they'll all pit at the same time. We'll wait and see what that strategy is if it stays green a little bit longer. Keselowski is on the inside of Hamlin right now for 2nd place, and he should have him cleared into turns 1 and 2. Keselowski is closing in on Larson. He has gained about 0.2. He's gaining about 1/10 of a second a lap, and he made very, very quick work of Hamlin. Hamlin trying to cross him back over to the inside as Brad goes to the outside near the wall. Hamlin has to slide in line behind him. He couldn't get him there. So Keselowski should pull away from Denny now. And we'll see if he's got anything for Kyle Larson for these final 50 laps as Fox goes side by side. Yeah, I might have persuaded not putting Blaney in the lineup over Harvick. That's okay. I put Harvick in the garage, so it's not costing me any, and my other 5 guys are running good. But I know Blaney's had success at Vegas, and again, I mentioned that I think he can get a top 10 today. And the only reason I had him as a don't have, not necessarily that he wouldn't run well, but because he hasn't shown the speed this year, so why risk it when there's better options out there? Obviously, Harvick, statistically on paper, would have been better going into the day, not so much. But the other 2 guys that were on the must-haves have been having great days. Looks like Ricky Stenhouse is the first driver on the pit road with 50 laps to go in today's race. He was running just outside the top 10. This might be the trend of a lot of drivers coming to pit road here very soon. You'd have to assume that William Byron, Rudy Fugle is going to be coming down soon. They paid the price by staying out the longest in Stage 2. Costed Byron a chance to win that stage and keep that track position. So we'll see. Byron's still running 7th, still having a great day, but could have had another playoff point. We know how important those playoff points are. Anytime you get a chance to win a stage or win a race, you have to take the advantage because it came down to a nail-biter at the end of that round of 8 last year. We had a 3-way tie, or nearly a 3-way tie, to get into the championship 4, meaning every point throughout the course of the season does matter. In case something like that were to happen again, which very well could. And not just in the round of 8, it could be in the round of 12, the round of 16. We've seen it before. Last year was just a great example of it. Ryan Newman on pit road as well. So again, the start of green flag pit stops are going on. Larson's still on the track. And again, I think you're going to see guys like Hamlin, Truex, and Blaney pit. Of the leaders, likely going to pit before guys like Keselowski, Larson, and Byron. But right now, of the top 5, they're all still on the track and have not considered hitting pit road yet. Larson's still running up near the wall on the high side right now, so you know he's not coming to pit road, at least that time by. Why pit from the lead, though, especially when you don't really have much pressure on you? Keselowski is trying to close that gap. He's 1.5 off the lead now, so Keselowski's barely closing the gap on Larson. He is closing, though. The difference is going to be who pits first. Keselowski's a little too far back. If he pitted before Larson by just 1 lap, he's probably not going to gain enough. And I kind of called it with Byron in a sense that I figured that they learned their lesson the last time, so Byron's going to short pit here in the final stage and be one of the first leaders to come to pit road. Bell, who's running just behind him, also on pit road, trying to short pit within the top 10. Bell was one of the drivers that stayed out of the pits under the last caution. 2 other drivers that stayed out of the pits during the last caution, Kyle Busch and Martin Truex Jr., they're on pit road right now. Also both in the top 10. Truex was in 5th, Kyle Busch was 6th. I'd expect Blaney and Hamlin to come down here probably next time. Yep, Hamlin's on pit road. I bet Blaney's right behind him. Matt DiBenedetto's just exiting pit road. Logano Bowman in the pits. Blaney's on pit road now. I was a lap off. I was expecting him to come to pit road a lap before he actually did. That might cost him a little time because he wasn't far behind Hamlin. If he comes out like an extra second behind him, that could be the difference. Yeah, Larson, a mistake coming to pit road, though not much on his part. Looked like he wanted to pit a lap before, but Timmy Hill, lap car, was in the way. And Larson might have backed out of the gas a little more than what he wanted. That is going to cost him time, especially only being a second and a half ahead of Keselowski. And with that, that means Keselowski was able to pit a lap before Larson. Though it didn't seem like Brad had a very fast lap. Or very fast pit stop. Penske crew has not been great on pit road today between the 2 and the 12. I do know that. They've lost multiple spots on multiple different pit stops today. Larson comes out just ahead of Keselowski. Blaney and Kyle Busch battling on the racetrack for an eventual position. Kyle gained that time on a guy that was 2 positions ahead of him like Blaney simply by pitting 1 lap before. That was huge. And Busch will clear Blaney. Daniel Suarez is currently the leader. Cole Custer second. They still have to pit. Yeah, so Larson and Keselowski pretty close to one another right now. Larson's still in the lead, but that definitely cost him time trying to come to pit road. It was a 1.5 second lead, and now he is only about 3 to 4 car lengths ahead of Keselowski. See how much the draft plays a factor, especially in the short run when the tires are fresh, and I think that's going to play a factor here for Keselowski being able to stay close down the straightaways with Kyle Larson. 40 laps to go. It could be a good battle. So Suarez and Custer probably going to stay out as long as they can, hoping for a caution to trap a decent amount of these guys a lap down. Everybody else, on the other hand, not so much. Man, Bowman's crew had a 12.6 second pit stop. That is ridiculously fast. Really, anything in the 13s is good. 12.6. My goodness. Cole Custer's on pit road, leaving Suarez the leader, still on the track. Suarez is on the inside. That was in 1 and 2. He might be coming to pit road this time. Not entirely sure. Hand didn't go out the window, but I don't know if there's anybody behind him. Continues to run the bottom. Nope. Suarez staying out of the pits at least another lap. So Suarez pitted under that caution, so he can go quite a ways yet on fuel, which means he's going to be leading for quite a bit if we don't see a caution. And then that battle will go to Larson and Keselowski at this point. Beyond that, So the current top 10 after Larson, the current top 10 that will be after Suarez hits pit road will be Larson, then Keselowski, Hamlin, then Truex, Kyle Busch, followed by Blaney, Bell, Byron, Bowman. Currently the top 10 again behind Suarez. Suarez has about a 7.5 second lead on Larson. Waiting to come to pit road. And he's probably going to wait as long as he can, especially while he's still in the lead. R6, welcome to the stream. 32 laps to go against Suarez. Still leads only by about 2.5 seconds. Larson's catching him quick against Suarez on old tires. He still has to hit pit road a final time. Everybody else so good on fuel to the end of the race. Barring a caution, I don't think you're going to see anybody pit any longer. Again, tires mean a lot, but if we're going to get a caution in the final couple laps of the race, I think you have to stay out. If we're going to get a caution before that, you're going to have to pit. Larson zips right by Suarez to take the lead with 30 laps to go. So Kyle Larson in the lead. Keselowski will have the eventual lead, and Larson's actually pulled Keselowski since both those two came out of the pits. Remember, Brad was only about 3 car lengths behind Larson. Now he is over 1.5 seconds behind him. Keselowski gets around Suarez for second place. Fox is going to go side by side. We'll keep this realistic broadcast going. I'm just excited for me as a Blaney fan that he's running in the top 10. And he has all race. He scored a lot of stage points. That's good too. So by far his best race this season. Surprised Suarez is still on the track, even though he's fallen back to 5th. I would have expected him to come to pit road as soon as he lost the lead. He might be in the pits right now. Voodoo. Yeah, stop saying that, Ravish. Give me that uneasy feeling. I'm surprised Bubba Wallace was able to get back to 28th, honestly, after falling 5 laps down earlier. Granted, that's mainly because the Rick Ware cars and all those other back marker cars keep going more and more laps down with the long green flag runs. We've only had 3 cautions for an actual incident today. 2 of them early in the final stage. He's probably able to take the wave around a couple times during those cautions, so I would assume he's probably about 3 laps down. I haven't checked it in a while. 25 laps to go. I'd assume when Fox goes back, they are not going to take another commercial the rest of this race. Somebody's on the apron of the racetrack. Oh, they're just coming off pit road. I think that was Suarez coming out of the pits. They were showing the back of his race car. I couldn't tell exactly who it was. So Larson's got a 1.6 second lead on Brad Keselowski, followed by Denny Hamlin, Truex, and Kyle Busch, the top 5. Well, Kyle has really brought that car alive in the second half of the race. He doesn't look like he's got a race winning. Well, he might, though. I mean, he just passed Truex for 4th. He was outside the top 10 for the first half of the race. Kyle Busch coming alive. This is his home track. His brother, Kurt Busch, got a win here at his home track in the fall. Can Kyle do the same here? Now, Kyle does have 1 win in the Cup Series at Las Vegas, and in the spring at least, and that was back in 2009. Keselowski continuing to lose Larson. He's 2.4 seconds off the race lead. Continuing to lose time. I don't know if the lap traffic has cost him a lot. He was literally 1.6 off the lead just 2 laps ago, so maybe he caught some heavy lap traffic. So all 3 Penske cars are in the top 10 still. All 4 Gibbs cars are in the top 10. And then the 3 cars that are not Chase Elliott for Hendrick are in the top 10. And again, Elliott was in the top 10 for most of the first half. Fell back in the second half. Then he got back in the top 10 on a restart before spinning out. Damage to his car has cost him to not really get back into the top 10 since. He's currently 15th. Kurt Busch, who was also involved in that accident with right rear damage, is back in 20th. Both drivers are on the lead lap, but more than 20 seconds off the lead, hoping for a caution to maybe improve their possessions a little bit better with some late race strategy. Yeah, Stuart Haas has been way off on speed today. Almirola obviously has crashed. But even before that, Kevin Harvick for the longest time was the top running car in 15th, and now he isn't even in 15th anymore. He's outside the top 15. They're starting on the pole. I did not see that coming for Harvick today, and I'm sure a lot of people couldn't. It was a must-have. But he's in my garage for my fantasy team's sake, so I guess it's all right. And there's Harvick right now, about to go a lap down as Larson closes in behind him. Harvick is in 22nd. Briscoe 23rd. Custer 26th. Almirola 30th. So Harvick is the highest running of the 4 Stuart Haas cars, and he's 22nd. This has to be the worst race for Stuart Haas in a very, very long time. Maybe ever. Larson continues to put more cars a lap down. About to lap Ryan Newman off turn 2. 16 laps to go. This is Larson's race to lose here, and problems for Alex Bowman. And that's a hit for my fantasy team right in front of my eyes. Bowman was in ninth. And it looks like he might have had a tire going down. Oh, man, almost got drilled by the 38 of John Hunter Nemechek. Boy, that was scary. Bowman did not hit the commitment line coming to pit road, so he should have to take a pass-through penalty, which in return, I guess, is going to put Harvick ahead of Bowman in the running order. He should. He missed the commitment line on that replay cam, so... No. I don't think he was too fast entering. He might have been too fast entering, but he didn't even get down to the commitment line. He only had the left sides below it at the time. You gotta get all four below it. Oh, okay, there we go. Mike Joy corrected him. So, see, I called it. I called it before Fox did. He had a commitment line violation. I saw it. I saw it first. Yeah, that was very scary, man. Alfredo probably needs a new fire suit at the end of this. That was very scary. I mean, he was probably going over 100 miles an hour, no joke, faster than Bowman right there. Kyle Busch looks fast, but Larson's still got the fastest car on the racetrack right now. Although Busch has been gaining more positions during this final tire stint at the end of the race, he's actually losing time. He was 5 seconds off the lead when he came off of pit road. He is now 6.2 off the lead as he passes Hamlin for third into turn 3. But if we get a late race caution, Kyle Busch is putting himself in prime position to get a chance on a restart to win today's race in his hometown. Another strong run. Again, we mentioned Eric Jones was in the top 10 earlier. He is still in 10th place right now. Even showing long run speed. He's been in the top 10 pretty much all stage 3, right around 10th place. And showing that DiBenedetto's falling off late in this one. He's back to 14th. Chase Elliott's still in the move forward. He's actually 13th, still on the lead lap. So good for him. Still a 2.8 second lead, nearly 2.9 for Larson. Back to Brad Keselowski. Michael McDowell just went a lap down in 17th. Kurt Busch went a lap down the lap before. 8 laps to go now at Las Vegas. A lot of lap traffic for Larson, but he continues to pull away. He's got a 3.5 second lead as Keselowski just continues to lose time. Yeah, Larson's basically just hoping this stays green to the end. Remember, we had a caution with 2 laps to go in the spring race last season when Ryan Blaney was leading and Alex Bowman was running second, causing varying pit strategies where each of the top 2 came to pit road. It is a countdown to the white flag, and boy, does Larson want to see the white flag. He's had bad luck at the end of some of these races this year. Well, I should say one race, and that was the Daytona Road Course, which looked like he was going to go on and catch Logano and pass him. Instead, it was Bell after Larson ran into a tire wall overdriving turn 7. 5 laps to go for Kyle Larson. 3-second lead. Wow, Larson's got 9 second-place finishes on a mile and a half, most all-time without a win. Three laps to go for Kyle Larson off of turn 4. He just needs 2 more laps, 3 more miles to get to the white flag. 3.2 seconds back to Keselowski. He can take his time, but you know he wants to hustle and get there to that white flag as soon as he possibly can. Side-by-side lap traffic in front of him with Daniel Suarez and Chris Buescher. Suarez already a lap down. Buescher is the last driver on the lead lap at 14. 2 laps to go now for Kyle Larson. So it's an interval of a 3-second gap between first and second. Another 3 seconds between second and third. And another 3 between third and fourth. Blaney has caught Hamlin for 4th right now. That is the closest battle inside the top 5. And then there is Bell and Truex battling for 6th to the end of the race right now. Those are the only battles inside the top 10. White flag in the air, 1 lap to go for Kyle Larson in the Penzoil 400 at the Las Vegas Motor Speedway. What a race for Kyle Larson. Probably had the fastest car here today, and I think he proved that, leading the majority of the race, the most laps. Second week in a row that the most laps were led by a Hendrick car. Byron last week at Homestead leading 102 and getting the win. And now this week, Larson leading, not sure how many laps, but he's going to get to the checker flag first once again. Checker flag in the air. Off turn 4, Kyle Larson wins his first race back in NASCAR with Hendrick Motorsports driving the number 5. Seven career wins for Kyle Larson. First at Las Vegas and first on a mile and a half. And as far as the surprising winners go, as far as before the season started, I don't know if any people really expected Larson to run this well to start the year and get a win this early in the season, but the speed he has showed in the first 4 races, you knew he was close. So maybe an unlikely winner as far as before the season started for this early, but Larson is in victory lane. I predicted him to get 2 wins this year. I did not think he was going to win this early or at Vegas, but expected 2. He might get more than that with the way this season has started. What a burnout by Larson. That was only on the back straightaway, too. Now he's going to go to the front stretch and probably do another one. Fans in attendance got treated to a pretty good race. Maybe not the finish that everybody expected, but you're going to have that from time to time. And honestly, from start to finish, this was an overall slightly above average race, I would say. Especially the way things started. That definitely puts it above. And I'd probably say it's right around a 7 to an 8 out of 10. It was a good race today. But what a win for Kyle Larson. Well, for anybody that said that this package was going to hold Larson back this year, too, I think Larson kind of proved that wrong this season. Very early in the year, getting a win with this 550 package. Ethan, welcome to the stream. Only got Larson correct in my fantasy league. I had him as the top Chevy on my team, so I got bonus points there. And I had the top Ford because Brad finished second. Brad was my pick to win. Larson led 103 laps in today's race. That is only one lap more than what Byron led in his dominant second half of the race last week. But Hendrick has a hole today. Between leading laps with Byron and Elliott early, Larson a lot late. I mean, just from top to bottom, Hendrick had a great day. Even Elliott, after spinning, still rallied back to get in the top 13. And that was without another caution. Logano wasn't a bad pick for the win, though. He had a lot of success on this career coming into this race. We'll take a rundown of the finishing results real quick, and then we'll get on out of here. We will be streaming again later tonight. We'll be doing a full race NASCAR video game live stream, and it will be NASCAR 05 Chase for the Cup, and it will be the Truck Series. And that will start at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Post-race analysis video will also be up on the channel later today. Going to pull up the finishing results to this one, and then I'll announce who the winner is unofficially, barring post-race inspection here, for our fantasy league. So Kyle Larson finishes P1, Brad Keselowski second, Kyle Busch ends up third, Denny Hamlin fourth, able to hold off Blaney there at the end. Blaney ends up fifth. Mark Truex Jr. holds off Christopher Bell to finish sixth, Bell seventh. William Byron eighth. Joey Logano did have a good day, finishing the top 10, ran there all day, ninth place finish, and Eric Jones, I think the surprise of the day, rounding out the top 10. Notable drivers who finished outside the top 10 as far as drivers we had. Matt DiBenedetto was a sleeper pick. Ran well early in the race, faded in that final stage, finishes 16th. Kevin Harvick was a big, big no-no for today's race, finishing 20th. He was one of the must-haves and one of the guys I thought who would contend for a win today, especially starting on pole and having the track position at the beginning. But Stewart-Haas as a whole was terrible, with Harvick being the highest-running Stewart-Haas car despite finishing 20th, because Briscoe finished 21st, Custer 25th, and Almirola slapped the wall earlier and ended up falling back and finishing last by the end of the race. So, man, what a tough break for all four of those guys. Probably the worst day that Stewart-Haas has had in a very long time, if not the worst day total. Keselowski won Stage 1, getting his first playoff point of the year. Kyle Larson won Stage 2, so Larson's got 6 playoff points now after the win here today as well. It's a pretty good start to the season for him. And again, he has had fast cars for most of the year. pretty much all 4 races he's had a fast car, really. Even in the Daytona 500, he proved really well, had a top 10. So again, we'll be live at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time tonight on NASCAR 05, and that was definitely a lot of fun. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. We will be doing this again next week, but not for the Cup Series. We will be doing a live race reaction slash realistic commentary, and that will be for the Xfinity race next week at Phoenix. And last but not least, we're going to see who won this week in fantasy. And unofficially, barring post-race inspection, P-Shat Motorsports' Patrick Shadley, for the second week of the first 4, has won. He won for the Daytona 500 to start the year. He sneaks in there late. He was in the top 5 for most of the day, but I think Bowman dropping out definitely costed me a chance to win. P-Shat Motorsports scoring 222. Inside Uranus was second, 210. And I round out the podium with 200. Ravish close behind me as well. In 4th, I think the bonus points were the only reason I finished ahead of him, because we had the same starting lineup. But yeah, that's going to be it. Like, share, and subscribe for more daily NASCAR content. I will see you guys in a little over an hour as we'll go virtual racing for the Truck Series on NASCAR 05. Thanks, everybody. Enjoy the rest of your hour. I'll see you next time.